Hey everyone, Homostar here, and welcome to my next collection series. So I did my gaming collection series, finished that last year, and now this year we're going to do DVD collection series. So obviously I'm going to do it in sections. First section is going to be live action films. So yeah, also just a warning, if you hear some rain, I apologise. It's England, so it's going to be raining. It rains every other day, and I tried to record without it raining, but every time I go in to start recording, it starts raining again. So I'm sorry to have to put up with it. Hey, maybe it might make you feel calm. Maybe some nice ASMR. Why not? But yeah, anyways, as I said, gonna do live action films this time. Then next time will be animated films. This will probably be 2 videos. Live action films, live action movies will probably be 2 videos because there's quite a lot here, and I don't know how long it's going to take for me to go through each movie. So let's just start off. So let's start off with the Marvel movies, and we'll start off with the MCU, and I'll do it in order of films that I own. So the first film I have is The Avengers, the first movie. Yes, Avengers Assemble. So yeah, actually a story about this one. So over here in the UK, they couldn't call it The Avengers. And that's because I believe there was an old British TV series called The Avengers. So when the movie came out, they couldn't just call it Avengers, so they had to rename it to Avengers Assemble. So yeah, there you go, fun fact for you there. Yeah, this movie's great, obviously. This was the big proper start of the MCU, I guess. Obviously there'd been the other films, the first 2 Iron Mans, for Captain America and all that, but this is like when it properly started. Like, this was what it was all building to, and I miss these days. We're probably going to be hearing a lot of like disappointment of the MCU, modern MCU in this video, because the ones I have are all the good ones. But yeah, this one's great. Obviously, Loki is a top tier Marvel villain. All the actors in this are good. Robert Downey Jr., he is Iron Man. Hemsworth, Evans, they're all great. Scarlett Johansson is Black Widow. I think she's a little bit underrated, I'm going to say, because I feel like everyone always made fun of her because, she doesn't have superpowers. But like, there was so much more to Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow than I think people let on. And I think it's a shame that, like, I don't know, in an era of like where they're focusing so much on the strong female character, it feels like someone like a Black Widow kind of gets ignored because it was before that time. So even though you had like a really good female character in Black Widow there, they kind of didn't focus on her, if you know what I mean. But yeah, definitely a good film, and if you haven't seen this yet, yep, you absolutely should. Next up, actually the next Avengers movie, Avengers Age of Ultron. Haven't seen this movie since it came out, actually. I've got it on DVD just because, obviously, I've actually got all the Avengers movies, so you'll see the other 2 later. People don't like this one, from what I can gather. This is like considered to be one of the more weaker movies, like in the early days of the MCU, like phase 1 to 3. This is considered one of the weakest ones. And again, I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't really know what people's issues with it are. I guess probably like the story and that. And I mean, Ultron was an interesting villain. I remember the one thing I didn't like about Ultron was that they made him too comedic. Did I have Ultron here? I was like, he's not even on the box. That's weird. They haven't even got Ultron on the box. He's there in the background, like a bunch of them. You'd think they'd have at least, if it's called Age of Ultron, you'd think they'd at least have Ultron on the box, on the poster. But whatever. Yeah, like, I think Ultron, they made him too comedic, if I remember rightly. But I think there's some good. Again, I haven't seen this in years, so I can't remember what, and I don't really know why people don't like it. I mean, it introduced them. Scarlet Witch to the franchise, and she became one of my favourite characters in the movie, so I guess it's good for that reason. But yeah, I remembered liking it at the time, but yeah, maybe I need to look up why people didn't like it, perhaps. Alright, next up, Ant-Man. I actually got this one from a friend. A friend got me this for Christmas, I think. Christmas or my birthday, so I don't usually get these like sort of one-off movies. I like to just get the ones of like the movies that I really liked. And yeah, not to say I hate Ant-Man, I actually really like Ant-Man. I actually think this movie's super underrated. Including the sequel, I actually liked Ant-Man and the Wasp as well. I think these movies are really good. Paul Rudd is great in these films. Michael Douglas, Evangeline, I don't know how to pronounce the name, sorry. And yeah, Michael Pena as the other guy, he was funny. Like, they were all good. Like, I think that was probably why people didn't like Quantumania, because they kind of got rid of all those side characters and it was really stupid. But yeah, like, obviously it's not like a perfect movie. Like, I know this was, so I think the big story about this one was Edgar Wright, who you'll definitely be seeing later on, because I've got a bunch of his movies in my collection. the plan was he wanted to make an Ant-Man movie for years, and he was contacted to make it, and whatever happened, it fell through. He still got a credit on the movie, but it's not his. He has nothing to do with this film, which is a shame because it would have been great to see an Edgar Wright sort of superhero movie. We've seen what he can direct. It'd be great to see a superhero movie directed by him. But yeah, if you haven't seen this one, I'd highly recommend it. Definitely give it a chance. Next up, this is a great one. Probably one of my favourites. Civil War, Captain America Civil War. Yeah, this movie rules. I think this might be the best MCU movie. It's this or Infinity War, which I'll get to later. But this movie is great. I'd argue it has one of the best villains in it. The conflict between Iron Man and Captain America just is perfect. It makes so much sense. The introduction of Black Panther is really cool. It was nice to see him. Because I'm not the biggest fan of the Black Panther movies, but in this film he's great. And obviously, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, because that sucks that he passed away. Because he was really good in these movies. But yeah, so much about this is great. I love the way the story is. Obviously, the fight scene between Captain America and Iron Man is great, and it's there's actually a reason for it. It's not just we're going to see them fight. There's actually a reason for them to be fighting because they both sort of believe different sort of things, and they don't do a sort of a who's on the right side of things. Both of them kind of have their own points, and it's remember the build up to this film was all about whose side are you on, and I like how they make it so that both sides have their points, so they don't make one side the good side and one side the bad side. So yeah, really good. And yeah, I forgot to mention, because he's not on this poster at all, this is Spider-Man's debut. Yeah, Spider-Man makes his first MCU appearance in this movie. Yeah, Tom Holland, obviously talking about him in later when I go for the Spider-Man films, but yeah, he's my favourite Spider-Man, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, if you haven't seen this one yet, I definitely recommend it. I guess the one with saying is that you can't really start with this one. You kind of have to watch, I'd say watch all the Avengers movies and the Captain America movies and the Iron Man films, and that should be enough to figure out this one. Because it's weird, because it's technically, you could argue it's an Avengers movie, but it is mostly about Cap. But it is his film, so the title does make sense. But yeah, this one's might be my favorite. Is one of my favorites. Yeah, next up, Guardians 2. Yeah, I thought I had a copy of Guardians. I don't have a copy of Guardians 1. I think I had it on Blu-ray, but then I sold it because my DVD player couldn't play Blu-rays. Obviously I could play my PlayStation, but the DVD I sort of had in the room where I watch films wasn't a Blu-ray player. But now I have a PlayStation. Now we don't have a DVD player. My PlayStation is actually my DVD player now. My PlayStation 4, because obviously PS5 plays PS4 games, so my PS4 is now my Blu-ray player. It's now a Blu-ray player effectively. But yeah, so I need to get a copy of that again because I do love both of these films. Wasn't the biggest fan of Guardians 3. Guardians 3 is good, but I felt like it was such a... Maybe that's a hot take, but I found a lot of issues with Guardians 3. I still liked it, but nowhere near as much as I liked Guardians 1 and 2. So this is the one that's got, Kurt Russell, Ego. Oh, and introduces Mantis, and that's cool because I like Mantis. She's cute, she's funny. Yeah, this movie definitely is good. It really is great. And obviously, you got Yondu and all that stuff with him. That's really good. Baby Groot is I think it's hard to go back because obviously this was the start of the whole baby trend in movies, but Baby Groot is fine because he was the first one. It's one of those annoying things where something becomes popular and then everyone does it. So Baby Groot kind of becomes that. He kind of what's the word? He becomes worse off because people then try to copy him. And yeah, of course, Batista, my boy, but maybe low-key the best wrestler to become an actor, surprisingly. Which I don't think anyone was expecting. Obviously, The Rock's, The Rock. Cena's actually pretty decent in acting and that. He's actually done quite well. But, The Rock, man, Batista, man, he surprised a lot of people, especially with this role. This was his first big role. And it was it ended up becoming that thing where actually he didn't need WWE anymore. And I'm so proud of him for that. I sound like his dad, yeah. Yeah, I'm really proud of you, son. Really good on you. But yeah. Guardians 2 is definitely great. Definitely up there as one of my favourites. I mentioned it earlier. Mentioned Tom Holland's Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, I love this movie as well. I actually like all the MCU Spider-Man films. I really like MCU Spider-Man. Tom Holland actually is my favourite Spider-Man. I've got the Maguire film, so I'll talk about that in a minute. But I just think Tom Holland I think he's just a perfect blend of, Parker and Spider-Man. I think a lot of the issues was... Obviously, Maguire was he was a good Peter Parker but not a great Spider-Man, and obviously Garfield was a good Spider-Man but not a great Peter Parker. I feel like Holland was the first one where it felt like he was a good Spider-Man and good Peter Parker, and also it finally looked like for once he was actually looked of the age, because they always have that issue of, aging, having older actors play Spider-Man when he's a teenager and that. But yeah, Tom Holland was like, it finally felt like they had the right age for him. This poster kind of sucks because he's got like Iron Man on there, but he's not really in it that much. I remember that was like one of the big criticisms of the trailer and the poster was that they made it seem like Iron Man was in the movie more than he was, when he really isn't. It's basically a glorified cameo, which is good because it is a Spider-Man movie, and I think it definitely needed to be that. So it's kind of annoying, but I get it, marketing and that. You want to make it seem like Iron Man's got a bigger place in it, but you kind of wish it wasn't like that. Oh, it's also got one of my favourite MCU villains, Vulture. Michael Keaton's great in this movie. You got Ned. I can't remember the actor's name. It's like Jacob something. He's really good in this one as well as Spider-Man's friend. And yeah, it's just really, really good. I would say this is like my second favourite of the MCU Spider-Man movies. But again, I think they're all great. Oh, but speaking of my favourite MCU movie, it has to be Avengers Infinity War. This movie is brilliant. It's such a perfect film. Thanos is the greatest villain in cinema history. He is up there with a Darth Vader and that. He is just so good. And I kind of like how he's kind of like the protagonist of the story. Obviously he's not the hero, but the movie is basically he's the main character in a way. And it really felt like the proper crossover that we'd all wanted. I really like Wanda in this movie. This is when my sort of love for her started, because I really love her storyline with Vision and how she has to she has to sacrifice Vision. She has to kill him to get to destroy the stone, which of course then happens with Thanos. Then rewinds time, so it's all for nothing. And yeah, it's such a good movie. I love this film. Everything about it is great. If you've not seen this one, I mean, don't start with this one because you're not going to know what's going on. But yeah, I think this was almost a perfect. It was the start of a perfect conclusion to the franchise. Yeah, conclusion. So speaking of conclusion, Endgame. Yeah, Endgame's great. I mean, people seem to be somewhat turning on Endgame now. It feels like, obviously when it came out, everyone loved it because it was great. And then I feel like now that people have had more time sort of now that the what do you call it? The initial sort of reactions have settled and people are looking at it more objectively. People are seeing a lot more issues with it. I still really like it. I haven't actually seen it since it came out, so I can't give too much of an opinion on my current thoughts on this. But I still do think it's really good. Obviously, the swan song of Tony Stark and the swan song of Captain America. We hope, chances, because by the time this is released, they might have announced that Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans are coming back. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Fat Thor in this movie. I get what they're trying to do, and there's some good moments in there, but I do feel like it plays his his anxiety and his all of that for laughs. And I don't really like that. Again, I get what they're going for, and I do think it works in some cases, but I do feel like they could have made it a little bit less comedic. That's just me. And Captain Marvel is basically pointless. I love how Captain Marvel comes out before this film, and they're saying you have to watch this movie so that you can get her in Endgame, and she's in 3 scenes, she's barely in it. But yeah. Again, I still think it's a good ending to the MCU and probably should have been the ending, but I do think there are probably issues in it. If I was to look at it more analytically and more objectively, I probably could find some issues with it, but overall I still think it's a good film. And it was the highest grossing film of all time until they released Avatar again because James Cameron sucks. Yeah, you lost fair and square, James. You should have just let it have it. So last year of the MCU, actually both Spider-Man films. First off, Far From Home. Yeah, really like this one as well. I'd say this was probably my least favourite of the MCU Spider-Man films. Still great though. Again, Holland's great. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is really cool. They found a way to make him look right. They didn't sort of, because a lot of these superhero movies, they try and when they make the designs of the characters, they go, no, it's going to be more realistic and more serious. But it's no, he actually is going to have his there's a picture of him. Yeah, he's going to have his fishbowl head, and they do it really well. They make it actually makes sense. And I do really like the story, and that the story, obviously this was the perfect like follow up for Endgame. You know, with Holland having just seen like the death of Tony Stark, who was his mentor, and it's almost like having to have this like weight of like, what did you say, like this like, it's almost like his, I guess his insecurities and like how he's got this new weight on him of like almost having to take over from Iron Man and like be the new sort of like savior of Earth and that. And I really like the way they do it. Again, Tom Holland really does well in this one. Again, the other actors are good. Zendaya is really good in this movie because I didn't mention her in Homecoming because she doesn't really do much, and I kind of left Homecoming being really sort of a bit annoyed by her character, feeling like, because it was very obvious that they were making her their version of Mary Jane, but like they kept trying to say, oh, she's not. But I think in this movie they kind of like make her a lot better, because I didn't really like her character in the first one, but in this one and the sequel they do a lot more to actually make me like her character, you know. And I ended up really enjoying both her and Peter's relationship in this movie and the next one. But I probably should just mention the next one now because not much else to say about that one, and that is of course No Way Home. This movie is great. I love this movie. This is my favourite of the Spider-Man MCU movies, and just my favourite Spider-Man. Well, I was just saying my favourite Spider-Man movie in general, but that might be Spider-Verse. But yeah, I still love this movie. Getting to see Maguire and Garfield back was great. Is it fan servicey? Yes, absolutely fan servicey. But it works. Like, it works in the story. They're not just there for no reason. That they actually have reason to be there, and they actually use it to help the story of the film. Like, and they have him. They link up with Holland's Spider-Man in a great way. You know, they actually almost get to like be the mentors to him that he never had, that they never had. Like, for once, Spider-Man has other Spider-Mans that can like get him on to like the right path. Because like, I love that whole sort of thing people say that actually the MCU Spider-Man movies were basically Spider-Man's origin story. Yeah, and I really like the way they do that. And the ending is quite sad as well, having to like give up everyone can't remember who he is anymore, so he's on his own. But again, it then leads to him being a proper Spider-Man now. I really am excited to see what Spider-Man 4 is. It's like the only MCU movie I care about anymore. But yeah, I think Spider-Man, hopefully if they do it right and they do it properly, and again they keep Spider-Man sort of on his own, because I heard that rumor that they might be doing like they wanted to try and do another like big multiverse movie, and like, no, they shouldn't. Make it a sort of a low-level Spider-Man movie, and it will be perfect. And you know, yeah. So speaking of this is my favourite one. Speaking of Spider-Man, so this is the other two Spider-Man movies I've got. So now we're out of MCU and now we're into just other Marvel films. So here's the two Spider-Man movies I have: Spider-Man 1 and 2. Get out. Here you go. Yeah, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2. Both great. I haven't got Spider-Man 3 because I don't like Spider-Man 3. I don't have the Amazing movies either because I don't hate those movies, but I just have no interest in getting those. Yeah, these two are great. I love these ones. Spider-Man 2 is definitely the best one. Spider-Man 1 is fun as well, but I do think Spider-Man 2 is the best. Yeah, like, I mean, they are still good. I was going to say, like, maybe things haven't aged well, but I think they still aged really good. Spider-Man 2 especially has really aged well. Like, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock is great, and Spider-Man 1 obviously has got the greatest villain in Spider-Man history, Bonesaw by Macho Man Randy Savage. Bonesaw is ready! No, in all seriousness, Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin is great. That's another thing I love about No Way Home is that Green Goblin in that movie is fantastic. Willem Dafoe, I think, is the best Spider-Man villain on like live action. So yeah, not really much else to say about these movies. Everyone already knows that these movies are great. And if you haven't seen either of them, absolutely do. I don't think you need to watch Spider-Man 1 to know Spider-Man 2, but like, I think you should definitely watch both of them because they both are great. Next up, we've got the X-Men movies. Not a lot here. First off, X-Men Days of Future Past. I think I got this for Christmas one year. I didn't see this in cinemas. I got it on Christmas and I watched it. So it's funny, like, I watched it before. So I did film studies at college, and one of the like topics we had was superhero movies. So I actually watched this movie like the night before my exam. So like I had a superhero movie sort of fresh in my mind. The funny thing is, it's actually one of the movies that came up in the like exam, because I think they mentioned like marketing, and they used like the marketing of this movie for an example, because I think like they had like they had a poster that was like reminiscent of the comic that this movie is based on, which is quite cool. Yeah, I remember really liking this film. Yeah, obviously, so it's like it was kind of the big crossover between the classic X-Men characters and then the sort of the past ones. So obviously got Hugh Jackman there along with James McAvoy. And obviously Michael Fassbender and Ian McKellen's there as well, and obviously the younger Beast and that. Oh yeah, this is the first movie to introduce Quicksilver, and he has like the best scene in the film. And you've got Jennifer Lawrence, Mystique, back when I think she actually did care. Like, this was pre I don't give a crap anymore, Jennifer Lawrence. But yeah, I remembered liking it. I haven't seen it since, but I remembered enjoying it. I guess I could give it. I guess people would probably like it. Next up, do you know what? Yeah, no, I'll do them separately. Deadpool, first Deadpool movie. Oh, that movie's great. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. Obviously, Ryan Reynolds is brilliant as Deadpool. All the other actors are great. Oh yeah, it's got TJ Miller in it, so maybe he's not as good, but whatever. But yeah, really fun, really great. It was kind of the movie we needed in like an era where lots of superhero movies were the same. It was kind of a breath of fresh air. I will say it unfortunately kind of led to more meta and fourth wall breaking things happening in the media. So, but again, I can't really blame the movie for it. It's kind of like what I was saying with Groot. You can't blame Baby Groot for all the baby stuff because, you know, it wasn't his fault that people decided that was a good idea. So yeah, Deadpool movie still great. I actually can't remember the last time I've seen it. I've definitely seen it a lot, but yeah, it's definitely really fun and all the jokes in it. And also we got Deadpool 2 as well. This one's great as well. Josh Brolin being both Cable and Thanos in the same year, because this was 2018, I think. Was it 2019? No, yeah, 2018. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the guy who plays what's his name? I can't remember his name now. I think he's what's his name? Ted Lasso. I haven't seen that show. I just know it's a thing. But yeah, he was in it. Oh yeah, and that's the Invisible Guy who was like for one like split second is played by I think Brad Pitt. It's like Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio. I know it's like a really big actor and he's only in it for like a small scene, and like that's obviously the joke of it. And yeah, Domino was good. I can't remember the actress's name. I know it's some Zazie Beetz. That's it. Yeah, she's good in the movie as well. I liked her. Yeah, really good film. I really enjoyed it. Oh yeah, Juggernaut's in it as well. Ryan Reynolds gets to play the Juggernaut as well, and it was nice to see him on the big screen again after Vinnie Jones's portrayal of it in one of the X-Men films. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't like this one. I still think it's fun. I still think it's really good. I think all the Deadpool movies are great. Super nervous about Deadpool and Wolverine though. I really hope it's going to be good. I really want it to be good, but I'm nervous. I just worry that they're going to mess it up. But like, I mean, speaking of Wolverine, Logan, I love this movie. Again, I need to rewatch this movie again because it's been so long since I've seen it. Like, I haven't seen it since it came out, but when I watch this movie, my god, this is like one of my favourite superhero movies ever. It's not even really a superhero movie, you know. It's basically like what do you call it? Like a sort of like a western, I guess, but with a superhero sort of tone to it. But yeah, like Hugh Jackman, this was obviously supposed to be his last film. I forgot her name. It's like Daph Keen or something. I can't remember how you pronounce it, but yeah, she was really good as X-23. Yeah, I actually said that when when she got older, they should have just made her the next Wolverine in the X-Men universe, but I can't see that happening. I'm going to make a massive bet that she's going to be in the new Deadpool Wolverine movie. Like 100% she's going to be in it. Which would be nice to see. But yeah, like the other thing I'm worried about with this film is that we're bringing Hugh Jackman back when this was such a good like farewell to the character. It's going to be really sad. We really hope that they don't ruin it. But you know, it's modern day Marvel, it's modern day Disney, so they're going to find some way to screw it up. But no matter what, we still got this movie, and yeah, I really need to watch this again. Really need to watch it again. Really good. So that was Marvel. So now let's do DC. Not as many DC movies as I've got Marvel movies because I'm more of a Marvel guy, but still got a few. First off, the classic Batman movie, the 1989. Is that when this one came out? As it say? It probably says on there, but I can't see it. Yeah, the original Batman movie. Michael Keaton, obviously. Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I think I watched this one last year. It was one of those I'll admit, it was more of I just had it on the background whilst I was sort of doing other things, but I enjoyed what I saw. Michael Keaton's quite good in it. Like, obviously, he is Batman. Like, he was the original live-action well, obviously, the first proper live-action Batman. That's not a slice at Adam West, because he's great as well, but this is like the first time when they sort of took superhero movies properly in a way, and Michael Keaton's really good in it. It's weird seeing him young, because obviously I only know sort of Michael Keaton as an older person, so seeing him like really young is weird. Like it's a bit like seeing Danny DeVito as a young man. Like it doesn't make sense. Like, I only know you as an older person. How is it? It doesn't feel right. But yeah, really good movie. And yeah, if you've never seen it, you should. I want to watch the original Superman movie as well. You know, the one with Christopher Reeve. I really want to see that one as well. I need to get that copy of that at some point. But yeah, really good. Next up, Dark Knight trilogy, big box set that's got all of them in. Now, this is gonna upset a lot of people here. I haven't seen any of these films. I know people are gonna get really annoyed that but I haven't seen any of them. I haven't found any time. I feel like these kind of movies, this kind of film, you need to kind of find the right time to watch them. But I know everyone loves them, and these like considered one of the best like superhero trilogies. Dark Knight Rises people don't like as much, but I know Batman Begins and Dark Knight is considered the best superhero movies ever. But I need to find time. I tried to watch Batman Begins at one point, but I think I feel like it's got a really sort of long opening. So I feel like because of that, it was hard for me to get into, but I need to watch it again, be in the right mood to watch it, and yeah, I'll definitely watch this. I definitely need to watch these at some point. I apologise, I haven't seen them yet. I have seen this one though, Joker. This movie's great. This one is like, I almost don't want to say this is one of the best superhero movies because it almost doesn't count. Like I don't think it's fair to call it a superhero movie because obviously like it's got Joker in it. It's a superhero character. I mean supervillain I guess, but it doesn't. It's just nothing like. It's kind of like what I was saying with Logan, where it's like you can't really consider it a superhero movie because it's not a traditional superhero movie, but it is brilliant. Joaquin Phoenix is just brilliant. He won an Oscar for this movie, didn't he? Yeah, yeah, he did. Absolutely well deserved. Is that the first time a super? Oh no, Heath Ledger won a Joker. So yeah, it's weird to think that. Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time a Joker actor won Best Actor, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird to have them twice, right? Yeah, it's so weird that the Joker has won 2 Oscars. But yeah, Joaquin Phoenix is great. All the other actors in this movie are brilliant. She's back. Was it? Yeah, Zazie Beetz. She's in this movie as well. That's fun. So yeah, she must be like one of the few actors who would be in both a Marvel and DC movie. I always had an idea of doing a video like that where I would like sort of say how many actors have been in both a Marvel and DC film. So quite a few. I know J.K. Simmons, Michael Keaton, obviously. That guy from Ant-Man. Was it David? He's got a really hard name to pronounce, but he's in this and next movie I'll talk about. But yeah, that'd be a fun video. But yeah, there's nothing much else to say. Brilliant movie. Everyone's already talked about this film and how great it is. I mean, my only thing about it is that I feel like I don't ever want to watch it again. You know, it's one of those weird things. Like everyone says that, oh, we need to watch it again. Like this is a movie where I'm kind of content with watching it once. I don't know. Like maybe I should watch it again because it's still so great. But yeah, I feel content watching it just once. But yeah, absolutely brilliant film. And if you haven't seen this yet, you should. I feel like even if you're not a superhero guy, you can watch it. Because I watched it with my mum and dad, and they loved it as well. My mum really liked it actually. It's funny. My mum had no interest in like superhero movies, but obviously when the whole she had no interest in this movie, but then the whole controversy happened. It just made people more interested in going to see it, and that's why this movie made so much money because people made a controversy out of it. But yeah, if you haven't seen this yet, absolutely do. This one's technically Batman, I guess, because there's some Batman characters in it. The Suicide Squad, the original, the sequel, I guess, but also not really. You know, with Cena as Peacemaker, Idris Elba as a character I've forgotten the name of. Is it Deadshot or was that the original one? Ratcatcher, I liked her. She was a good character. Obviously, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is very, very pretty. I'm sorry, that's all I could think of. Harley Quinn could be a weird character for me because I think there are times when I really like her, but then there's also times when I'm like, yeah, kind of. I think it's more of she's kind of become way too popular now, so she's just she's just always there now. Like they kind of make her like a main character, and I always felt I feel like she worked better as a side character, if you know what I mean. Like she's too off the walls to be a main character, if you know what I mean. Not that I have anything wrong with her in this film. I think she's really good, and I think Margot Robbie really plays the character well. I think she was the perfect person to play the original live-action person. Oh yeah, Peter Capaldi's in this movie as well. I forget Peter Capaldi's in this film because it just was like such a non-Peter Capaldi movie. But yeah, really good. Obviously, I actually kind of don't hate the original Suicide Squad. It's a bad movie, but I kind of don't hate it. There's some bits in it I like. Will Smith's good in it. Harley Quinn again is good in it. Jared Leto sucks in that movie. Oh my god, he is the worst Joker ever. He sucks in those movies. He's so bad. But yeah, I really like this film. I really like it. It's a shame it didn't really do good in the box office. That's mostly because it came out during COVID, so it was never going to be successful, sadly. And yeah, I'm excited to see what James Gunn's new DC universe looks like. Obviously, he's working on that Superman movie, and I'm excited to see what happens. Last up for DC, Shazam, the original Shazam movie. Yeah, I really like this movie. I really liked this movie. I thought it was really fun. I had no interest in seeing the sequel because apparently it wasn't very good, so I didn't miss anything. But I really like this one. It's got the villain is what's the actor called? Mark Strong. That's it, Mark Strong. Yeah, he's really good. Mark Strong's really good in this as well. I think Zachary Levi's good as well. From what I gather, from people who have seen the sequel, they say that they really mess up the sort of the character portrayal of Shazam and Billy Batson. Whereas I think in this one they get it perfectly right. Like I think they really did it good. Yeah, not much else to say. Just like it was also like again in an era where like DC movies were being super serious. I think this was the movie we kind of needed. It's just like just a light-hearted movie. So to reminding people that superhero movies can be sort of silly sometimes, but then of course now we're in the era where now they're a bit too silly. Like there's a perfect balance between serious and silly, and I think superhero movies need to be in that middle part. Unless you're making a movie like Joker or Logan, I don't make them too serious. Make them a little bit. Get the right balance. That's what I'd say, and don't undercut serious moments with jokes. But yeah, I really like this movie. If you haven't seen it yet, you should give it a go.